deep in the heart of the vast, sun-drenched savannah, lived a little lion cub named Leo. Unlike the other cubs, who would roar and pounce with all their might, Leo was a bit different. He had a roar that was more like a squeak, and his pounce was often a clumsy tumble. The other animals would sometimes giggle, and the older lions would shake their heads, whispering that he'll never be a king like his father. Leo heard their whispers, and they stung like a thorn in his paw. He would often hide behind the tall acacia trees, practicing his roar, but only a tiny squeak would come out. He felt a heavy sadness in his heart. Maybe they're right, he'd think to himself. Maybe I'm not meant to be brave. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, Leo's mother, Queen Lyra, found him sitting by himself, staring at his reflection in a small puddle. She sat down beside him, her warm fur brushing against his. "What's troubling you, my little sunbeam?" she asked softly. Leo looked at her, his big amber eyes filled with tears. "I can't roar like the other lions," he whispered. "I'm not brave. I'll never be a king." Lyra nuzzled him gently. "Oh, Leo," she said, her voice like a soothing melody. "Bravery isn't about how loud you can roar. It's about the size of your heart and the courage to face your fears, no matter how small you feel." She looked him straight in the eyes. "Your roar is inside you, Leo. You just need to find it." Her words were like a warm blanket on a cold night. Leo thought about them all night long. The next day, he decided he wouldn't hide anymore. He would try to be brave, even if his roar was just a squeak. A few days later, a great panic swept through the savannah. A mischievous hyena pack had cornered a tiny baby gazelle near the rocky cliffs. The gazelle was crying for its mother, its little legs trembling with fear. The adult lions were on a hunt far away, and no one else dared to challenge the cackling hyenas. Leo saw the little gazelle, and his heart ached. He remembered his mother's words, "Bravery is about the size of your heart." He looked at the scared gazelle, and then at the menacing hyenas. Fear pulsed through him, making his paws feel like stone. He wanted to run and hide, just like he always did. But then, something inside him shifted. He saw the gazelle's terrified eyes, and a feeling stronger than fear washed over him. It was a feeling of wanting to help, a feeling of needing to do the right thing. He took a deep breath. He forgot about being a king. He forgot about having a loud roar. He just thought about that little gazelle. Leo walked out from behind the rocks, standing between the hyenas and the baby gazelle. His legs were shaking, but he stood tall. The hyenas stopped their cackling and stared at the little cub. They began to laugh. "Look at this little furball," one sneered. "What are you going to do? Squeak at us?" Leo's heart pounded in his chest. He was terrified. He opened his mouth, expecting his usual tiny sound, but this time it was different. Thinking of the gazelle's fear and his own desire to protect it, he let out a roar. It wasn't the thunderous roar of his father, but it wasn't a squeak either. It was a loud, determined, and surprisingly powerful shout that echoed off the cliffs. The hyenas were so stunned by the unexpected sound that they froze for a second. The surprise was enough. Leo's roar wasn't just a sound, it was a declaration. It said, "I am here and I will not back down." Taking advantage of their confusion, Leo charged forward, not with a clumsy tumble, but with a focused pounce. He didn't attack them, he just ran straight toward the gap in their circle, creating a path for the baby gazelle. The little gazelle saw its chance and darted through the opening, running as fast as its tiny legs could carry it, straight to its mother, who was watching from a safe distance. The hyenas, surprised and a little embarrassed to have been outsmarted by a cub, grumbled and slunk away into the shadows. The savannah fell silent for a moment, and then a cheer erupted from the other animals who had been watching. Leo stood there panting, his little heart still racing. He had done it. He had been brave. He didn't need a mighty roar or a powerful pounce. He just needed to listen to his heart. When the other lions returned, they heard the story of the brave little cub. His father, King Mufasa, walked up to him. Leo looked down at his paws, expecting a lecture. Instead, his father lowered his great head and nuzzled him proudly. "I heard your roar today, son," the king rumbled, his voice filled with pride. It was the roar of a true king, not because of its volume, but because of its courage. From that day on, Leo was never called the little lion with the squeaky roar again. He was known as Leo the Brave. He still practiced his roar, and over time it grew stronger and more confident, but he never forgot the lesson he learned. He knew that true bravery didn't come from the outside. It wasn't about being the biggest, the loudest, or the strongest. It came from within, from a heart that is willing to stand up for what is right, no matter how scared you are. And so Leo the Brave became a symbol of hope for all the small and quiet ones in the savannah, proving to everyone that even the smallest voice can make the biggest difference. When it's filled with courage and love, he knew that one day he would be a great king, not because he was born into it, but because he had earned it, one brave act at a time. And every time he faced a new challenge, he would remember that day by the cliffs and the truth he discovered. The loudest roar comes from the heart. Thank you for watching our story today. If you enjoyed Leo's journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more inspiring tales. See you next time.